Recording in progress.
Prof. Bambang Saharjo, Guru Besar di Fakultas Kehutanan IPB yang baru-baru ini mendapatkan John M.Agr Prize.
Okay, now 2 o'clock, 4 minutes past 2. I would like to confirm to Pak Basar whether the Director General already in place. Pak Basar or Pak Israr, can you confirm?
Yes, Pak. According to Pak Irfan, who Dirjen still on schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So she will be joining you in the same room or in different room?
Different room. In other rooms.
Okay.
Let me contact.
Ya, Pak. Udah ada, Pak. Udah ada, Pak.
Ya,
Udah ada, Pak.
Islaknya join with us.
Halo, Ibu. Bu Dirjen. Ya. Oh iya. Oh iya.
Selamat siang.
Ya.
Ya,
Baik.
Mr. Petra,
Baik.
Director General, to join with us.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ami already here.
Sore Bu Dirjen.
Selamat siang Pak, selamat siang semuanya.
Terima kasih.
Okay, Bu Dirjen, allow me to lead the opening ceremony. We should start.
Ready, calore bayar di tempat.
Okay, shall we start? Pak Isdar?
Yes, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, a very good day to everyone. I wish all of you are always in a good health. Amid the unprecedented of COVID-19 pandemic, I believe everyone here stay productive in doing good things in your work. For those of you who celebrate the Eid Adha, I wish you a happy and blessed Eid. May God Almighty bless all of us. My name is Tetra Yanuariadi. I am a project manager of Trade and Industry Division, the International Tropical Timber Organization, ITTO. Welcome to this webinar entitled Policy and Reserve Development in Indonesia as one of the series of webinars of forest fire in Southeast Asia. The series of the webinar are collaboratively organized by the Directorate General of Climate Change, the Indonesian Ministry of Environment and Forestry, Regional Fire Management Resource Center Southeast Asia, under the IPB University, and the ITTO. This project is under the framework of a specific project entitled Capacity Building on Forest and Land Fire Management in Indonesia. This ITTO project is being executed by the Directorate General of Climate Change, financially supported by the government of Japan under the Japanese government initiative for emergency support to large-scale forest fire in the Amazon region and Indonesia, thanks to the people of Japan. The objective of the webinars, number one, is exchange experience on good practices on prevention and management of forest and land fires among ITTO member countries in the region. Number 2 is strengthen research network for prevention and management of forest and land fires among the ITTO member countries. And the last one is to prepare country report on prevention and management of forest fire and land fires. In the first part of the webinar, the opening ceremony, we will listen to the welcome messages delivered by Dr. Juan Okpa, Projects Manager of ITTO Forest Management Division, and Dr. Nareswara Nugroho, the Dean of Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University. And then following this welcome message, we are honored to have Ibu Laksmi Dewanti, the Director General of Climate Change, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry of Indonesia, to deliver the opening remarks. In the second part of the webinar, presentation and Q&A, moderated by Dr. Juan Okma, we will be updated on forest fire policy and research development in Indonesia. For this, we will have two prominent speakers, Mr. Basar Manullang, Director of Forest and Land Fires of the Ministry, and the well-known Professor Bambang Saharjo from the IPB. As you just saw from the slides, proceeding to our official meeting, Professor Bambang is a Jones Medal Prize laureate for his scientific and professional work on forest and land fire issue. So I believe you will enjoy listening to both speakers. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Ma from ITTO to deliver his welcome message. Dr. Ma, microphone is yours.
Honorable, thank you. Honorable DG of Climate Change, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, Indonesia. Honorable Dean of Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University of Indonesia, Dr. Nareswara Nugroho. So I have some video presentation, so I like to ask our colleague to upload my video message. Thank you. On behalf of the International Team Organization, I'm greatly delighted to deliver welcome message on the occasion of the webinar on forest fire in South Asia, which is being organized under the ITTO, Indonesia Fire Project. First and foremost, I wish to thank the government of Japan for providing generous funding support to implement forest fire project in Indonesia under the government of Japan initiative for emergency support to large-scale forest fire in Amazon region and Indonesia. In order to address global environment concerns such as climate change, conservation of the biodiversity, and people's health in the region. ITTO recognized that forest fire continues to be a serious threat to the tropical forest resources in many countries. ITTO has supported a number of field projects on forest fire prevention and management in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. In 1997, ITTO published the Guidelines on Fire Management in Tropical Forests with the objective of providing guidance to policymakers and practitioners on the development and the implementation of fire management programs. Thanks to the Indonesian fire experts who contributed to the development of ITTO fire guidance as an international reference. We are pleased that Indonesian Minister Nurubaya recently revealed that over the last 6 months, there has been a decrease in the number of the hotspots from 778 to 283. Congratulations to the Indonesian Ministry of Environment and Forestry for this impressive achievement. ITTO also look forward to the continued downward trend of the hotspot in Indonesia. The key message from the 7th International Wildland Fire Congress held in Brazil in 2019 is clear. Decision-making must be evidence-based and supported by monitoring and evaluation systems. Implementation should be coherent, cohesive, and coordinated with improved governance and strengthen the local action and enhance the resilient ecosystems and the communities. I believe that ITTO Indonesia Forest Fire Project will be a further milestone in our partnership for forest fire. I also believe Forest Fire Project will support to building better for sustainable resilient recovery after COVID-19. I'm glad that this fire project intend to strengthen the regional fire network through the organization of a series of the forest fire webinars from this month to January next year. Today, we are very fortunate that this webinar has two outstanding speakers, Mr. Basar Manullang, Director of Forest and Land Fire, Ministry of Environment Forestry, Indonesia, as well as Professor Dr. Bambang Saharjo, IPB University, Bogor, Indonesia. I express best wishes for today's webinar from Dr. Stephen Johnson, Officer in charge of ITTO, who was unable to join today's webinar due to his other engagement. Again, I wish to take this opportunity to express ITTO's hottest congratulations to Indonesia's Ministry of Environment and Forestry for the organization of a fire webinar during the challenging times of COVID-19. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ma. Thank you very much for your informative welcome message. And now I would like to invite Dr. Nareswara Nugroho on behalf of IPB to deliver the welcome message. Dr. Nareswara, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tetra. I hope my voice is clear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Dr. Juan Okma, the Project Manager, the International Tropical Timber Organization, ITTO. Honorable guest, Insinyur Laksmi Dewanti, M.Agr, Directorate General of Climate Change, Ministry of Environmental and Forestry. Honorable speakers, Mr. Basar Manullang, Director of Forest and Land Fire Controls, Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and also Professor Bambang Saharjo from IBB University, Vice Deans, Head and Secretary of Department, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, let us pray to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the most loving and the most merciful, for His blessing that enable us to be present in this very important today event via Zoom platform online. On behalf of the host of the webinar on forest fires in Southeast Asia, Policy and Research Development in Indonesia, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the webinar. I hope you are always in a good health and successful activities, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic situations that disrupt our normal life. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our faculty at glance. Faculty of Forestry IPB University has been established in 1963 as the first faculty of forestry in Indonesia. Our vision to be a leading institution in strengthening nation dignity through excellent higher education at global level in the field of tropical forestry. Since July 1990, Faculty of Forestry IPB has been renamed the faculty, become Forestry and Environment. It has 4 departments, namely Department of Forest Management, Department of Forest Products, Department of Forest Resource Conservation and Ecotourism, and the last Department of Silviculture. All departments have been nationally accredited and internationally accredited from UNGA and from Society of Wood Science and Technology USA. Currently, our faculty has 118 academic staff. Among them, 23% is professor and 83% holding PhD degree from various excellent universities. We have undergraduate student intake about 400 students per year. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, forest fire has been a regular catastrophe in Indonesia since the last 2 decades, which caused a great impact to the environment, including biodiversity, as well as human dimension loss. Loss of biodiversity has been a serious impact of the fires, whereas human dimension has played 2 roles in fire's occurrence. Human factor induced fire occurrence. On the other hand, human has become a victim of the fire impacts. Fire episode in 1997-1998 has stared to the world for its impacts to the environment, particularly the transboundary haze pollutions. The burn area has been estimated between 10 and 11.7 million hectares. The number of people affected by smoke haze and fire were 75 million, and the total economic cost to the region was as much as 3.5 to 9.7 billion US dollars. Almost the whole of ASEAN region was blanketed by smoke haze come from forest and land fires. Great impact of forest and land fires in Indonesia has been more concerned after collaboration research between Faculty of Forestry IPB and South Dakota State University funded by NASA in 1915 that found 50 gases out of 90 gases produced by forest and land fires in Indonesia are poisonous and dangerous to human beings. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, this year Faculty of Forestry and Environment IPB University is supported by the ITTO to organize webinar series on prevention and management of forests and land fires in Southeast Asia with an emphasis on Indonesia, which aims, the first is exchange experience on good practice and prevention and management of forest and land fires among ITTO members countries in this region. The second is strengthen research network for prevention and management of forest and land fires among ITTO members countries. And the third is prepare country report prevention and management of forest and land fires among ITTO members countries. Certainly, the government of Indonesia as well as other ASEAN member states has addressed the issue of the fires and transboundary haze pollution very seriously. Smoke haze is the most prominent issues which has been intensively addressed by high-level consultation in ASEAN region through the agreements on transboundary haze pollution by all ASEAN member states. Therefore, the webinar series may facilitate and strengthen collaboration among the states to encounter forest and land fire program. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, in this very good opportunity, I would like to express my sincere and high appreciation to the support of International Tropical Timber Organizations, Ministry of Environment and Forestry, Regional Fire Management Resource Center, Southeast Asia, RFMRC-SEA, and IPB University for making the webinar possible. My appreciation goes also to the resource persons, Mr. Basar Manullang, Professor Bambang Saharjo, moderator, and the organizing committee from Laboratory of Forest and Land Fires, Department of Silviculture. Finally, without any further delay, I would like to invite Engineer Laksmi Dewanti from Directorate General Climate Change, Ministry of Environment and Forestry to officially open the webinar. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Terima kasih banyak Dr. Nareswara Nugroho for your warm welcome messages. Now, we are pleased to invite Ibu Laksmi Dewanti, the Director General of Climate Change, to deliver her opening remarks. Ibu Laksmi, time and microphone are yours.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May Allah's blessing always be upon us. It sounds clear to you all?
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The Honorable ITTO representative, Dr. Wan Ogma, Dr. Tetra Yanu Riyadi, Dean of Faculty of Forestry and Environment of IPB University, Dr. Nareswara Nugroho, Director for Forest and Land Fire Management, my colleagues Bapak Basar Manullang, my dear colleagues Professor Bambang Saharjo, and all distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are attending this webinar. So good afternoon, and maybe good morning or good evening, because during this virtual mode, everybody could everywhere in the corner of this planet. And best wishes and health for all of us. First and foremost, let us offer praise and gratitude to the God Almighty for our health and opportunity which given to us, so that we can meet through virtually in despite of COVID-19 pandemic. In this first ever webinar with the special topic forest fire in Southeast Asia, policy and research development in Indonesia. So I would like to express at this outset to welcome and express my gratitude to the keynote speakers for the time between his busy agenda and other colleagues, the ITTO representative, Dr. Nareswara, and also for all participants who spend the time to attend and learn together from this webinar. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has succeeded in combating forest and land fire and also reducing the deforestation rate. I thank you, Dr. Ma, for your kind words and your appreciations to the government of Indonesia. We know climate change and forest and land fires are very closely related and influence each other. As an example, a prolonged dry season may trigger massive forest and land fire, and those fires will deliver many negative impacts to the environment. For instance, greenhouse gas emissions, air pollution, and other negative impact. More the past decade, forest and land fire are still to be a threat and occur almost every year in Indonesia. And if the fires do not treat quickly and appropriately, those will worsen occur climate change impact. As we all know that in the same time, Indonesia as a party to the UNFCCC are very much committed to reach the target set by our NDC. So we learned from the worst fire disaster back in 2015 that reached 2.6 million hectares. And with the cooperations and supporting from all stakeholders, success to suppress and lessen fire incidents in the following years. So from the recorded data, as I believe it's also mentioned by Dr. Ma, The burn area was more than 300,000 hectares. That achievement can be met, one of them driven by the President Jokowi's directions regarding corrective actions and policy in fire management, regarding intensifying synergy and coordinations among stakeholders. So this momentum, and with a strong commitment and direction from the leaders, an achievement on reducing fire incidents must be maintained and even should be improved. However, the challenge is still remain. We still need to increase and to strengthen our fire prevention efforts to more suppress and the fire's occurrence and no more haze pollution as our commitment in the ASEAN regions. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in line with President Jokowi's directions, synergy and collaborations among stakeholders should always be improved from time to time, together combating forest and land fire. No country could face this problem by itself without cooperations and contributions from other stakeholders. It is important to encourage and to increase participation from communities, private sectors, NGOs, and also international partners. For that concern, Indonesia, Ministry of Environment and Forestry in this regard, has collaborated with ITTO on controlling forest and land fires issues, emphasizing the improving capacity building of stakeholders. So one of the activities of that collaboration is organizing this series of webinars in the frame of sub-regional workshop or webinar for prevention and management of forest and land fire in South Asia. So we hope with organizing the activities can deliver exchange experiences on good practices on forest and land fire management, strengthen network and further collaborations on fire management, and also deliver wider benefits to the global environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this opportunity, allow me to again express deep gratitude to ITTO and IPB universities for providing a good cooperations and collaboration support. Much gratitude we also address to all experts and participants of this webinar. Our biggest hope is that the webinar series could deliver such the best and proven experiences of conducting fire control and in the end could provide a package of recommendation that can significantly support policies and practices on combating forest and land fire management and haze pollutions, as well as in Indonesia and also in other parts of Southeast Asia region. So I believe that every single webinar is important, but more importantly, how we following up the webinar itself. So walking the talk, it's important. So let's walk the talks. So finally, with the grace of God Almighty, I declare that this series of sub-regional workshops on fire management is officially commenced. So have a fruitful discussions, stay healthy and safe, and do not forget to continue being happy. Thank you. With my warm regard to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Honorable Director General of Climate Change, Ibu Laksmi Dewanti. Very encouraging opening remark, and also thanks for officially open this webinars, marking the first webinar of the series that we are going to have in the days, months to come. Thank you once again, Ibu. I know that your other engagement.
Yes, please excuse me.
But please allow me to ask you 1 or 2 minutes for group photo.
Sure,
I believe everyone here, 188 participants, will be very happy to have you in the group photo.
It's my pleasure.
Please, someone can help me to take the group picture.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Petra. For slides, please activate it on camera. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, 2 slides. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, 3 slides. 1, 2, 3, cheers. 4. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Thank you all for photo session, Dr. Teta. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Much. Thank you, Ibu.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Now we will proceed to the second part of this webinar, and for this I would like to hand this microphone over to Dr. Ma, who will be the moderator for the second part of this webinar. Dr. Ma, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tatra. Selamat sore, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, dear colleague, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the presentation and discussion session of today's webinar. I'm M.Agr from ITTO, and I'll be moderating the presentation and question of the second part of today's webinar. Forest can play a significant role in transitioning into a low-carbon resilient world. Forests are important to achieving the goal of Paris Climate Agreement, as well as the post-2020 biodiversity framework, as mentioned by the Honorable DG of Climate Change. However, unfortunately, tropical forests are under serious threat from forest and land fire. Forest fire kill people and destroy homes and the livelihood and the wildlife, and pollute water catchment. The smoke haze from tropical forest fire created health and navigation problem on a regional scale. In particular, recent huge fire that burned in Borneo and the Amazon and elsewhere rang alarm bell among tropical forest major and fire expert. So improving fire management is increasingly urgent in the tropics. So in today's webinar, we aim to discuss enhance the understanding of recent development of Indonesian forest and land fire policy and program. A question would be like that: what are the biggest challenges in forest and land fire program in Indonesia? In today's webinar, we'll also share the recent research and development program in Indonesia. Some of the questions we will raise like this: what is the current priority of research part? And what are the next priority for Indonesian research in the area of forest and fire, perhaps in the next 5 years? So we have two excellent speakers delivering the recent development, forest land fire policy and research. So let me invite first Mr. Basar Manullang, the Director of Forest Land Fire, and then I will invite Professor Dr. Bambang, Saharjo, and we like to hold first presentation, first part, and then after two presentation, we'll open for question and answer. During the presentation, you are encouraged, if you have any question or comment, please use the chat box. So when we go to question and answer, we'll pick up some of the questions you provide in the chat box. So dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Basar Manullang, the Director of Forest and Land Fire. He is playing the most important role in providing national policy in Indonesia.
Thank
Please
you.
take the position. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ma. Honorable ITTO representation, Dean of Faculty of Forestry, IPB University, Dr. Nareswara, and my boss, Director General Climate Change. Good day or good morning or good afternoon to all participants. I would like to thanks to ITTO and IPB University for inviting me in this important webinar series sub-regional workshop for prevention and management of forest and land fire in Southeast Asia with emphasis on Indonesia. I also send my best regard to Professor Bambang Saharjo, the important resources person, as well to all attendees in this webinar. Thanks also to our today's moderator, Dr. Ma Huan Ok. It is an honor for me to be here today. I am going to share brief information about recent development of forest and land fire policies and program in Indonesia, particularly in fire prevention. Next. My presentation will include the information about fire policy, fire program, particularly for the last 2 years, and conclusion. Slide number 3 first. Reflected the big fire occurrence in 2015. Starting in 2016, our President paid more attention to fire management to remind all stakeholders. Every year, President invite all fire-related stakeholders to the state place for national coordination meeting. The President stressing his direction on fire prevention and ask the permanent solution to tackle land and forest fire. Next. We understand that the fire management consists of 3 aspects. Firstly, prevention is the most important one. We have regulation in place, early warning and early detection system, support by integrated patrol and ground checking at field, while campaign and capacity building should also improve. Land clearing without burning practices for local people, fire a community, and new approach to the weather modification in order to maintain groundwater level, particularly at peatland. Secondly, suppression, including ground suppression and water bombing. And thirdly, the post-fire, including the law enforcement and burn area estimation. Next. As we make aware, we may divide it to fire cycle in Indonesia in 5 phases: pre-crisis, warning, crisis or during fire, recovery, and impact evaluation. Pre-crisis occurs on January to April. Warning phase during April to June. The most important is crisis phase in June to October, where fire usually occurs in Sumatra, Kalimantan, as well as West and East Nusa Tenggara. Last 2 phases usually ended due to rainy season in November to December. Next. In order to find the permanent solution, we are developing and strengthening 3 strategies to prevent forest and land fires through an analysis, operational, and landscape approach. climate analysis, including weather monitoring, region analysis, and weather modification, operational management by strengthening early detection, integrated task force, field post, suppression readiness, and law enforcement, and increasing the role of the fire community. Another important thing is to manage landscape through controlling peat management, strengthening the participation of concessionary or business and handling traditional agriculture. We also approach the community in the context of clearing land without burning, and also to improve the community economy. One example is the management of waste from land clearing into wood vinegar. Wood vinegar can be used as fertilizer, medicine, and also a disinfectant, which during this pandemic period was used by Manggala Agni for styling public area. Next. There are regulations related to land use and peatland management, forest and land fire, haze, forestry and plantation, as well as governor or mayor regulation as mandated in President Instruction Number 3, year 2020. There are 26 ministerial or agencies, including governor and head regency, involved in the fire management, headed by Coordinating Minister of Politics, Law, and Security. Next. For early warning system strategy, we know that we have detection system by hotspot monitoring, as well as suppression system by land or ground suppression and water bombing. However, predict prevent systems such as early warning system using fire danger rating system, integrated patrol, fire care community is more important to see the fire potential at early stage. Next. In early warning system, give us information on potential fire occurrence. The early detection system provide us with near real-time fire occurrence. Since 1997, we developed and improved our early detection called Cipongi, where we improve NOAA, Terra, or Aqua as NPP, and now Landsat 8 to detect active fire. Cipongi application now running for the UN Public Service Awards, which will be announced in next October. Additionally, M.Agr satellite captured by BMKG also complete us with daily smoke distribution and geo hotspot. Since 2019, in order to enhance our detection system, we established thermal camera at 15 locations in Sumatra and Kalimantan. As drone also become more easily to operate, our fire brigade at the field also use the patrol and estimate burn area locally. Next. The fire brigade Manggala Agni was established in 2002 in fire-prone province at 21 local fire center. Nowadays, it has 34 local fire center in 11 fire-prone province in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi, with total 1,875 personnel. Additionally, more than 11,000 personal fire care community registered. Next. In 2021, Ministry of Environment and Forestry has a target of 1,200 villages to prevent forest and land fires. This activity, including integrated patrol, as well as establishing and maintaining the existing fire care community. Each integrated patrol post can reach 2 or 3 villages prone to forest and land fires. Next. During this year, prevention patrol by Manggala Agni have been carried out at 464 villages posts in the province prone to forest and land fire. 46 posts in North Sumatra, 58 posts in Riau, 11 posts in Riau Island, and 460 posts in Jambi. 45 posts in South Sumatra, 77 posts in West Kalimantan, 81 posts in Central Kalimantan, 53 posts in South Kalimantan, 20 posts in East Kalimantan, and 28 posts in Sulawesi. Next. As we believe the community play an important role in preventing land and forest fire, Ministry of Environment and Forestry put more attention in establishing and improving the fire care community, which is spreading across Indonesia from Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Java, West and East Nusa Tenggara until Papua. Next. We also developed the community approach by involving fire care community Paralegal at 40 specific locations such as Riau, Jambi, South Sumatra, West and Central and South Kalimantan. The purpose of the Fire Community Paralegal program is to increase the role, synergy, and capacity of the regional government, Army, we call TNI, Police, we call Polri, and the community in controlling forest and land fires. This program aims is to establish a forest and land fire management system at site level that involving all stakeholders, reducing the intensity of forest and land fire and strengthening the community economic empowerment or livelihood. The last slide is conclusion. The Ministry of Environment and Forestry priorities preventing land and forest fire, analyzing climate condition regularly, improving operational management, managing peatlands, involving all stakeholders, focusing in community as the front line in prevention. That's all my presentation today. I hope my brief presentation could give some update information to all stakeholders that Ministry of Environment and Forestry emphasize on forest prevention and fire management. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe and healthy. Back to you, Mr. Ma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basar Manullang, Director of Forest and Land Fire. Your excellent presentation detailing policy as well as the community engagement. I think in terms of the policy, we learned
recording in progress.
Innovative, very comprehensive system. Also, we are impressed the community participation. You pointed out many community engaged also through the fire brigade. I think it is excellent information. So please wait during our discussion and the question and answer session. You will receive the main question. So we'll have the question and answer session, and later after presentation of Professor Bambang, Saharjo, we had his CV in front of our screen. So he is really outstanding international fire expert, not only Indonesia. So I was very impressed with the contribution international wildfire conference from many years ago, from 4th, 5th, 6th. I think he has one of the best contributor to international community to update fire research area in the international community. So please welcome Professor Bambang Hero Saharjo to make a presentation for around 20 minutes. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ma, my best friends. And then welcome to my colleagues from Indonesia and also from outside. I saw several colleagues from ASEAN country and also from France, from South Korea, Japan, etc. I don't remember. And welcome to this webinar. I think this is the right time for us in Indonesia because now we're entering the fire season, and I know the directors maybe now soon will be busy. We are watching the internet because gradually, the hotspot increase. That I'm sure. I saw how the team working very hard in the ground in order to get better climate and a better environment for us. Today, in several minutes, I would like to share with you what we are doing, especially in general, because if we are presenting in detail, I think I will spend more time. I will use my share screen. Mana Mbak? Aku nggak ada nih. Please, moment, please.
Hilang dulu tapi.
Maya dah. Masuk gitu.
If we have some technical problem, can I pick up two questions and then Professor Bambang, you can make a presentation.
Okay, no problem. Dr. Ma, now I'm preparing for it. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So you can go ahead.
Yeah. Ini. Okay, this is the topic that I will share with you. Research for fire prevention management in Indonesia. We are talking about the smokes, haze, greenhouse gas emission reduction, and then deforestation. I will start with the video.
Is it this one? That one?
Okay, the first video. From here we can see how the fire is in the ground and the spot spread everywhere. And then this is second one. You see this is on peatland. You can see the huge of gases emitted to the atmosphere. Then this is become of the challenge of the people on the ground. So hopefully we will not have this fire anymore, because according to the report by DG and also by the directors, this year they are happy because the fire is decreased so significant. And then sometimes, the police and also the army, and together with the Mangalagni, other people also trying to suppress the fire. You can see there. Because when the fire occurs not in one site, but also in many places. And then this is a result. I saw this slide many times. I would like to see here that because you have already worked very hard in order to produce something, but if you don't understand about the how you maintain or manage your lands, especially pits, and then this is the problem. This is in one area in Central Kalimantan. In 2 months, about 3,000 hectares will burn. And then this is the product of what you have to see. Taking this by my own camera. You see, this is in South Sumatra, yeah, in city, and this is in bridge, and this is in river. And both here is in Central Kalimantan. Sometimes we cannot differentiate which one is the morning and which one is the afternoon. And the problem is you can see the colors of the smoke is also different. This is why. This is a part of our findings. Then we start to research together with several universities in US, funded by NASA USA. And then you see this is some introductions that when your biomass burns, then they will produce many of these gases. And then if the fire occurs everywhere, we can see here from what view from NASA that the spreading everywhere. If this is in Singapore and Malaysia, this is in Indonesia. You see, if you cannot maintain this area with the good ones, and then this become problems because it might be transferred and everywhere, and not only in Indonesia, maybe others something. So we do hope again this will occur. And then this is, you see, I have also another video. This is the army and also the community trying to suppress the fire. The problem is this is all on peat. So the next question email is that what you will doing, or what you will do when you found this pit like this. Can you use this one? Or if there is no restoration, what is going on? This is again one part of our research. And also the other one, this is at the mountainous area. Yeah, there is forest there and being clear cut and burns. Yeah, this is the old story. Yeah, the hope that they will be look like this. We are happy because last 5 years there is not so many like this. And then this is the the story when you have your forests and also secondary forests. I mean, and then also the disturbance forest burn, and this is during the fire, and then this is the fire after the fire. You see the impacts not only produce smokes, but also how to guarantee that all vegetation will grow up, and also another question: can you plant this or not? So, and then how long you will keep these ones? Okay, and then this is the evidence on how you not believe that when you dealing with pit, if you not manage well, then this is the result. This is the out pump, for instance, in the hole, but you see the fire and then consume all this. This means that something wrong here. This is not only oil pump, but other stuff, paper, etc. And then what kind of research has been done? So then, like mentioned before by the Dean, we start, for instance, like 2015, working with several universities in the US in order to recognize what kind of gas produced during burning. Yeah, then maybe next month, next webinar will to show you the detail. And then this product, I think we did good research because in the world, maybe this is for the first time we got about 90 gases detected during fires. But now we are not working in Central Kalimantan. We are also working in Sumatra, in Riau, Jambi, South Sumatra, etc. And then we are proposing is the possibility. Then we will go to Papua, And then so this is a good result because based on the research, finally we recognize that IPCC's emission factors should be changed. And then you can see here, if you use the IPCC, then for instance, like Indonesia, they get the greenhouse gases that overestimates. For instance, like CO2 is more than 8%, methane is more than 55%, and NHC more than 86%. So I think this is a good result from the research. So this is the reason why then we will continue our work in order to see how about the situation others like in Sumatra. And also we have communicated with our colleagues, for instance, like from Thailand, if there is possibility to work together in order to get the information about the situation, maybe in other side. Later on, maybe we can discuss this one. And then the issue on the COVID-19, we have discussed this last month. And last night, I just received from colleagues that in India, there's one research now, there is possibility for burn straw connected with the COVID-19, but I don't know exactly because I didn't see the research. But this is actually our challenge, when we're dealing with the smokes, and then there is possibility on it. And then I don't know, because maybe the firefighters, they are, lack of power, etc. We can know something, and then maybe this droplet, etc. Make doubling with other source, and then connect with the possibility to have COVID-19. But this is, I think, is challenge that we would like to do soon. And this is CC. Wildfire smoke can irritate lungs, cause inflammation, affect immune system, and make more prone to lung infection, including SARS-CoV-2 and the virus that causes COVID-19. Because this is, I think, a good challenge, and we are lucky because the group of doctors would like to have a collaboration with us. So hopefully they will be supported for this, then we will continue. And then this is what I would like to share with you. For instance, like what I said before, PM 2.5, have the possibility to have the source to connect it with the COVID-19. And then, like mentioned before by the directors, you see the using of airplane and also helicopters, also a very good one. But be careful. We saw also that when you're dealing with the fire on the ground, where they have a heavy log, then the problem is the temperature is more than 1,000 degrees Celsius. So the question again, then when actually we can use this Bambi bucket? I think the answers may be good for the government in order how they manage this helicopter and also for some like bombers. Now, since last year, I think, and then we have a Sinok. Now I heard that Sinok is located now and operated in South Sumatra. And then this is also the reasons, when you have a pit fire, for instance, and then how you deal with it. In Indonesia, we call this suntikan gambut, because sometimes, we cannot depend only in the small water, because the answer is you should flooding this area. And then finally, hopefully, the core of a pit could be full with the water, and there is no possibility to fire grow up. Dealing with pit fire, this is inconcerning. Okay. And the other one, we have also conducted the cloud seeing works. And then, and also quite important because when I joined the COP19, in Madrid, Spain, this emission hit already, like mentioned before, even in 2019, see 1.6, but the greenhouse gas is nearly burning in 2015. Why? This is again the question. Then finally we got the result because the CAM said it's just because of pits. So because of pits, the acid pit has produced a huge amount of the biomass, and also because there's a sensitive to fire and cause this product, for instance, like 708 megaton of CO2 until the end of November 2019. This is the reason why the issue on peat, especially in peat piles, is very important. This is the reason why we would like to collaborate here, for instance, like with certain donor in order to have the capability to manage the peat piles. It's not only how you deal to fight, but how you're working with this. And then this is the result, because we already have restoration on peat, but there is still possibility the fire grow up, and then this is also our investigating to know why. And then, for instance, like this in South Sumatra, this is very huge fire there, and then this is also one of our focus why to get the conclusion. Because if it's up, then if you have no restoration soon, then the problem is this is the subsidence occurs means that you will lose the pit itself, and then of course you cannot manage well like before. And then I will speed up. This is the reason why the rating of drain organic soil, reduce greenhouse gas, etc. And this is the reason why then Indonesian government in 2016 established what they call Badan Restorasi Gambut, and then continue at the end of 2020 to be BRGM. And then if you have the drain organic soils, and then this become the source of greenhouse gases. We have several research on it, like this one. And also this is the result when we apply based on the regulation like this. This is one important paper in West Kalimantan. Around the area is pit also and burn, but they are not. It means that we also should be careful when apply this one. So this is my PhD student. We are research on the impact of this. This is the canal. I would like to know the impact. For instance, like how these waters affected the situation or the condition of pit apart from here. I mean, for instance, like 10 meters, 50, etc. Because sometimes we need this in order to make sure that our field is working, and then our plantation also need such kind of information. The other one is also early warning system. We can use this, find the things like now this is a fine polymer code, and also we can establish this one. And then we monitoring these ones. Now we're working for 3 years next, collaborated with also working with the Ministry of Forestry. We would like to monitor this one for Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Papua. In order to more time to stop or to reduce the fires. Also monitor pay to 2.5. Extra, and this is we challenge this one also without the fires, and you can see this. The people can manage this one, and they get more money. And then this one, this is one of the example in West Kalimantan where the places is not burned. And then we are talking also discussing also deforestation. This is one of the big issue because the fire also play regulation there. And then, of course, link with this one, And then this is the reason why the fire, it has been scientifically demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that fire has been part of natural system in Indonesia for many years. And then the vulnerable of Indonesian also link or fundamental issue forest management. This is actually like Dr. Mas said, we have discussed about this in last World Fire Conference in Campo Grande in Brazil. And then the last, along there is possibility to have working together. I think this is the good idea. Then so this is why we invite our colleagues who are working on the fires, and then hopefully if we are going together we can share. Then we have a good conclusion. Hopefully, of course, we need support. For instance, like ITTO. I think that's all I would like to say to you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Ma.
Thank you very much, Professor Bambang. Your excellent presentation. I enjoyed your evidence-based video and photo. Also, outcome of your many important research in forest fire. So I believe that our colleague will have a question to you. But first, let me tackle some of the question made by our colleague in the chat box. So I invite Basar Manullang. So I like to encourage you to look over some of the question, but I like to pick up 3 questions to you. The first question from Supriyanto Pontiana, some of the policy matter. The question is that what about the regulation from central and regional still accommodating land clearing by slash and burning by traditional agriculture activity? So this is a question from Supriyanto Pontiana. This is first question. So what are current regulation with the slash and burning? I think many countries, tropical country, particularly one of the main causes of fire, slash and burning, is traditional agriculture method. So what are the regulation from the Indonesian side? So please. Yes, so please, Pak Basar, you can provide the answer to this question regarding regulation of land clearing by the slash and burning.
Thank you, Mr. Ma. Mr. Supriyanto from Kalimantan and Pontianak. Law number 32, 2009, Article 69, still accommodate fire for traditional agriculture with maximum 2 hectares. We know in Central Kalimantan there are governor regulation number 15 2010 as improvement on governor regulation number 52 2008, which allow community to do fire with several conditions, permit and control. In Rio, there is a provincial regulation in 2007, it permit and should be followed by regency regulation to head village regulation. Thank you, Mr. Supriyanto, and back to Mr. Ma.
Yes, thank you. I think that this is a question also, another question relating to the regulation, legal aspect. So what another question from Jambi, in Jambi, Echo Jambi Central, in the district, especially in the Muara, the Madang, the village, and Panchan, the Hamlet, there has been community concerned with fire, and there was care the restoration people, which but however, there is no legality from the government yet organizing such a stakeholder community and private company. So this is what I understand somehow what kind of some legal framework to support organizing some stakeholder like this in the Muara Madak. So please,
Okay, thank you, Dr. Omar. Ministry of Environment and Forestry encourage all stakeholders to establish fire care community. Fire is responsible all stakeholders, not only government. We should build social community power to fire control. Thank you.
Thank you, Basar Manullang. Now we have some question can be answered both sides. I think I saw it in the chat box. I just look at the chat box. One the question is both sides. So regarding peat swamp forest. So one the question to here. Prevention is number one the priority. If 1 hectare of peat land burn, so we need maybe about 400 to 500 tons of water. Dry season, I think the peat land. Water or rain to run out of the such the area. So how to tackle peat swamp forest? It required a huge amount of water resources. So I think the particularly this is issue in the like the Central Kalimantan and Sumatra, where the peat swamp forest is the most typical part of the government challenge in addressing the fire. So please, perhaps, Basar, you please share some government policy, particularly focus on peat swamp forest. I think this is the most challenging the area. Indonesia as well in terms of the international arena. So please share the government program, and then also I believe the Prof. Bambang, you can share the field experience, how to suppress fire in the peat swamp forest. So I'd like to invite first Basar to share the government policy or program to address forest fire in peat swamp forest.
Thank you, Dr. Ma. This is the question from Mr. M.Agr dari Jakarta Post. Ministry of Environment and Forestry has a strong commitment to tackle land and forest fire, even the less budget. That's all.
So thank you, Prof. Bambang. So you had a lot of hand-on experience how to the fire on the spot. Farmer, they like to quickly suppress, but no equipment, no idea, just somehow the farmer difficult to get into the peat swamp forest. So you had the experience, you had the suggestion, most welcome.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ma and Pak Director. I'm very happy about this question because, like I said before, when you're dealing with pit fires, sometimes it is very hard to understand. I think, according to the regulation, I think we have so many regulations. Even it was published in 1990. 1990. It's clear about pit. So then you should keep your pit depth less than 3 meters. But if you have more than 3 meters, and then you should let the pit work by themselves, I mean, for conservation. But sometimes the problem is the pit situation is different. Many people obey, but the others also they try to against. So because I'm joined many cases in the term of law enforcement, so I saw many problems when we're dealing with. So when we investigate to help the police and also Ministry of Environment Policy, we recognize that sometimes, they manipulate the value or the depth of pit itself. We found actually the pit depth is more than 6 meters. Actually, it should be for conservation, but now they're opening for something. So this is the problems. I agree with director say that we finally recognize since 2014 actually started. We have regulation, the government regulation that stated that the pit should manage well. So then followed by the next regulation in 2016 and also in 2017. Especially for the corporations, they should manage the groundwater level is less than 40 centimeter. So how? So they should have a system, what they call is in Indonesia we call titik penaatan. There is some mechanism there, so they can monitor the groundwater level should be less than 40 centimeter. Otherwise, then your pit become sensitive to fires. So I'm sometimes when I go to the field, I ask the directors because they more than 50% are covered with pit. So I ask him as directors, hi directors, how you manage this pit? Because if you make a mistake, then this is disaster for you. And they said that, oh, Bambang, I don't know about that. So, this has become not good because as the regulation emerges, then they should follow. So this is again when we have challenges in the ground. We thought that they already understand, finally do not. Yeah, of course, when you're dealing with fires, you will have two level there. The one is they call is the surface bound pit, where the fire only at the top, at the surface, and then the second one is the pit fires. So why it's happened? Because we can wells the canal, and then the surface of pit become wet. So then this will keep you out of the fires. And then this not depend only on canal blocking, but you also provide the infrastructure to manage to anticipate the fire in your corporation. There is also regulation on it. You see, there is a strong efforts from the governments, but sometimes the field situation is out of the control. What we want now is that based on the regulation, I know the one of the solution will not only technical but also through the law enforcements. Yeah, because like Dr. Mas said, and somebody asked about waters. Yeah, be careful because, like I said before, to stop the fires in the pitland, you should flood it, and then if not, then you will have some problem. I think that's all. My answer maybe satisfy you. Thank you, Dr. Ma.
Thank you very much, Professor Bambang and Pak Basar. I believe the peatland, also when you talk fire and peatland, that endless also question and concern will be there. So I'd like to pick up the continuity. One question from Aida Grumbari. She made a question, actually two questions. First question is Aida. Thank you for Aida for bringing the discussion. So first question is how many hectares of peatland has actually been restored in Indonesia? I mean, restoration of the burned peatland. First question. And the second question, she made a question, this one. Has the government any plan to replace non-flood tolerant plantation with flood tolerant plantation? I think this is question somehow how to replace for future plantation. I think this is what I understand. So I'd like to ask first Basar to provide you the answer to restoration of peatland in Indonesia, and then any plan to also in terms of the forest policy in peatland, any plan to replace is the non-flooding the tolerant plantation with flooding the tolerant flooding area as a flooding area. Somehow the private sector they may contribute to this kind of area. So please, Pak Basar.
Thank you, Dr. Ma. We are very sorry, but the restoration and rewetting is the main task of Director General PPKL or BLGM task. So we don't have information about that. For information, you can contact Director General PPKL to know the data or BLGM. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I believe that you had the peatland restoration agency, so I think they have more a bunch of information, and I think we understand that this is also one of the big challenges to how to restore the peatland. I believe the government, particularly the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, has a very strong program to restore the peatland. I believe we'll have the data somewhere. So, Pak Basar, what was the second question from the AIDA regarding replacement of the flooding area or non-flooding area?
Which one?
Question exactly: has the government any plan to replace non-flooding plantation area with the flooding plantation area? This is some of the interest. A question made by the AIDA.
Which one? Give a moment to the question. Which one?
Yes. Yeah.
Does the government and the plans to
Yes. Sorry about somehow so many chat, so many questions, so I pick up one of them and then so can you look over the time? So 5:11 in the chat box, somehow the 5:11 p.m. the time. I think that we can see the time is somehow in the sequence of time. I just look at the time she put here, 5:11 p.m. So you can look over her question.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Ma. We have no ideas for non-food tolerant. I think we should consult the DG, the SDRM in Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Sorry about that. We have no idea about that, and I'm not responsible about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand there are other also DG, other department, they are charged of the restoration. We have plantation by private sector. So I think this is an important area which not under the fire division. Fire, you are more how to integrate manage the post fire. That is absolutely the priority. I mean, this question relates to the restoration. So I believe our colleague will provide some relevant information after this webinar. However, I'd like to invite Prof. Bambang and the additional point raised by the AIDA.
Okay, Dr. Ma, I was the expert for the BRG, and we're working from 2016 to 2020, and then we are target, according to the regulation, is more than 2 million hectares will be restored, especially for the pit burn in 2015. And beside BRG, Ministry of Environment and Forestry also conducted a restoration. I mean, at the at the concession, etc. So based on the data that I have, more than 4 million hectares of the pit already been restored. So I think this is a good effort from the government to show the public that how the serious the government of Indonesia fighting, or what I say, to reduce the greenhouse gas, especially from pit fires, and also from the pit, because they have also the mechanism on it. And I think they will continue for the next step through the BRGM. They will store about 1.2 million hectares until the end of BBRGM periods, maybe 2024 something. So hopefully, maybe this is a good effort how the Indonesian government very serious to reduce these emissions. And the second answers, because the question asked to the government policy, and I'm a researcher, I'm a professor, I think I cannot answer this question. Sorry, Dr. Ma. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You are focused on science phase, not the policy phase. So you are more providing accurate information and data. So I think this is the government policy. So as I mentioned, such information will be made available from relevant division of the Ministry of Forestry and Environment. The important point, what I learned from my reached this webinar, is important to mobilize also all the stakeholders, including private sector, in restoration of the very vulnerable area. I think this is important. So now I like to invite some important question. Time is the 5:15 p.m. I quote from the Jakarta Post. This is Jakarta Post. So addressed to Basar Manullang. This so many the question from here. So this is important, and you are really encouraged to provide some of the relevant information from here. I think that question talk about the common target or commitment, and so this is very important policy level discussion, and asking the question maybe in the later part of this question is maybe important, and then also you can go. What I learned. So His Excellency Minister Siti Nurubaya told COP26 President Sharma that Indonesia could even be carbon positive in 2030. So based on the NDC prepared by Indonesia, somehow the 2030 is carbon positive, but we understand Indonesia also committed to carbon neutral 2060. But before also government try to achieve the carbon neutral. And the question is here, what will the forest fire prevention at the ministry to help achieve that goal? So government has a plan. What will any the specific target from the prevention of forest fire? I think this question also, Parsa, also I believe the Professor Bambang, you had many also science-based data like the release of the emission forest fire, particularly greenhouse or CO2, CH4, and many how many megaton you pointed out some. I remember you pointed out 708 megaton CO2 released in 2019 to 708 megaton is huge amount of carbon released from the forest fire. So this is a global concern, not only Indonesia. So in terms of the government target for 2030, so what the role of the prevention of forest fire? So first, I'd like to ask Pak Basar to provide some information, and then also I'd like again invite Professor Bambang.
Thank you, Dr. Ma. According to the question of Mr. Akil from the Jakarta Post, COVID-19 of course affect the field operational, but Ministry of Environment and Forestry has a strong commitment to tackle land and forest fire even with less budget. This is the first. Secondly, to achieve the ambition of NDC to decrease emission, Ministry of Environment and Forestry conduct field tasks to prevent and suppress fire with 34 Manggala Agni Local Fire Center in Sumatera, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. That's my answer. Thank you, Mr. Ma.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Basar. I'd like now invite Professor Bambang.
Okay, Dr. Ma. Of course, what I have shared you before is that the very situation in 2019, because we are surprised. The camps then come to the conclusion on it, say that even 1.6 million hectare burned in 2019 compared to 2015 with 2.6 million hectare burned, but because in 2019 is many of pit burns, then it's become a problem. So because, like I said before, we're trying very hard according to with the regulation, etc. And then finally we got a good result. For instance, maybe later on Dr. Basar will give more information, because in 2020, then the hotspot and the fires decreased significantly, and also in 2021. And before the July entering on June, I spent many time to go to the ground. I went to Riau and then South Sumatra. The area is also covered by pits, in order to know how actually they deal with those pits. Of course, because this is really concern, and then there is changing already for the people in the ground on how they deal with fires. Starting from the province, and also the Bupati, the districts, and also the ground. But sometimes, like we have a family, for instance, like we have 5 children. We cannot hope all those children do like what we want, because sometimes number 1 and 2 is very good, but the other ones, number 3 or 4, maybe it's not like that. This is situation also occur in the grounds. There is province very serious and Bupati, but there is also the Bupati, the district and province seems not so serious. What I mean not so serious is said that because lack of budget and support, this is also become a problem. Because they said that this is not our priorities, because we still have another budget to provide. And then even though this area is located in pit. So, this is, we will see there is also a problem, but we are happy because in 2020 and now in 2021, the trend of fire is go down. And regarding the COVID-19, last month I have a webinar with Pak Basar and also one of medicine doctors. And we discussed on it, especially the issue, the fire on it, and how those people are working on the ground. On that time, Pak Basar really saw us clearly. Even outside, the challenge of COVID is still there, but you know, we cannot let the fire blow up. The people maybe complain, the issue on health, etc. But they're working. But they're working based on the, in Indonesia, we recognize is the health protocol. So they go to the ground. So like you see in my slide before, you see this is in 2019. The situation will be different. But in 2020 and 2021, they manage all this protocol, especially health protocol. If not, then there is challenge that the chance of COVID-19 will affect the firefighter, because sometimes when the fire occur there, it's not only the Mangalagni or the military police, but also the local people will join. But we don't know from them which one will come. So this is also the challenge. But I'm happy. Maybe Pak Basar can tell us that they go to the field using the health protocol, and then we got the result that the fires and also the impact are reduced in hopefully also in 2021. That's all, Dr. Ma. Thank you.
No problem with the signal.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ma is having problems.
Thank you very much for solving the technical problem immediately. I saw some weird seen the frozen off screen, but I'm very happy to see again Prof. Bambang and Pak Basar. So thank you. And also I appreciate our technical team. I think that this the national target prevention managing of fire is important. So I believe His Excellency Nurubaya will make a good contribution to the COP26 coming the November of this year. So I think that this the commitment and target will be very much influential to the international community. In the world, in the international community, Amazon and Borneo is really the very, very important hotspot, which we are paying attention. And I have two more questions to Pak Basar, and then also two more questions to Prof. Bambang. So I saw the one question to Pak Basar, somehow the strategy, in terms of strategy, and what is the landscape approach. So the time is the yes, the time is 5:17 to Pak Basar. In the landscape approach, what strategy the government have to implement the fire prevention? So this is also interesting. And now we talk about the landscape approach instead of the project or the specific site. So landscape approach, please. Basar, provide you the update information in the landscape approach. What are strategy from the government side?
Thank you, Dr. Ma. Yeah. Since last year, besides establishing of MPR, we also introduced MPR Paralegal. It also focused to empowering the community livelihood or economy. Besides that, for example, in Rio Province, the government provide hand tractor to community to conduct PLTB. The second question is about from kemitraan, ya. Mr. Deria, the fire prevention budget from Ministry of Environment and Forestry spread from national to implementation in 5 regions. We call Balai Pengendalian Perubahan Iklim, wilayah Sumatera, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Maluku, Papua, and Jawa, Bali, Nusa Tenggara. However, the budget also come from BNPB, BRGM, provincial, and private sector. So it's a little bit difficult to gather all budget. The important things is all effort goes to one resultant, fire prevention. Thank you. Time is yours, Mr. Ma.
To Pak Parsa, this question is related to more the policy aspect. So the question brought at time the 519. So question is what would be the most effective policy to address the burning, prohibiting the burning in land preparation. Although the regulations are very clear, but still such a practice, slash and burn, but burning the waste still taking place. So what really, any some, not only regulation, any the incentive or the positive aspect to address such a burning practice. So in additional regulation, any other incentive from the government, so that I understand the question. So question made 519. So Pak Parsa, please, so this kind of the more the open brainstorming to how to address. I mean, we had a clear regulation, but some of the regulation sometimes difficult to be implemented on the ground. So in terms of the government also program, what your also recommendation, what are your idea?
Excuse me, Dr. Mark, can you repeat the question? Because we cannot find the question in the chat box.
Oh, sorry about. I saw the question is the people 520, 519. So I could not see the name. 519.
Yes, it's from Turmudi.
We had 518, 519, and 520. So I just pick up the 519. So can you see the question?
Turmudi Banyaman.
519.
Because 519 here is Turmudi Banyaman.
I think above that from Nityasa Idola.
Ah, so
oh, Mr. Pepe.
Okay.
Okay.
We have so many questions also listed in the chat box, so I'm sorry about your question. Organize this question.
Give me a moment. This is Mr. from Nityasa. He's my friend, Mr. Pepe. Mr. Pepe, we don't have any simple technique to do fire without PLTB. So that is the answer. We have to increase the welfare of community first. Yeah, Mr. The government, especially my directorate, we don't have any simple technique to fire without PLTB. We have to increase the welfare of the community first. That's my answer.
Yes, thank you.
Time to you, Mr. Remark.
This is kind of the question is more the open for the attention of the policymaker, how to provide some incentive to community who are doing great job. This question. I have two more questions, and then we can close the question to Professor Bambang. Question made at 5:25. Supriyanto to everybody. The question is the 5:25 made is here regarding IPP, the cooperation with Sumatra or the Kalimantan to develop the cooperation, the fire prevention. You can share the IPP cooperation program with inside the country.
Okay, Dr. Ma. I think we have many collaborators with the university in Sumatra or in Kalimantan and also in Papua. For instance, like in Kalimantan, we have collaboration with Central University of Palangkaraya. And then in Sumatra, we're working with Universitas Riau, and then Universitas Jambi, and also we established the other ways, for instance, with several university, because when we have a project, then certain project we collaborate with this university, and the other project we have this university. So it means that from there we can share a result, like actually what we need now from the webinar. Maybe we have this kind of result from Indonesia that we can share from our college from ASEAN, and hopefully, or maybe from others, and hopefully later on we can share. We can get more information from our college from outside, for instance, like from ASEAN, from others, so that this is such kind of exchange, like you mentioned. This is the purpose of these webinars. So of course, we're dealing with many universities outside. Sumatra, Kalimantan, and also we have collaborated also out of this university. For instance, like in Papua, we start to collaborate in order to get to collect the haze. I mean the smoke from pit fire, etc. That now we are still proposing on it. That's all, Dr. Ma.
Thank you. I have one more last, I'd like to pick up the last question for Prof. Bambang. Question made 540. This is maybe straightforward question to you, as not only fire prevention, also how to restore forest area occurred by the fire. So the question is the 540. Based on the research, what commercial species are recommended for the to increase the livelihood in reverting this also, I believe, the Peterswan forest.
Okay. Actually, there is many species that could, or plants that could be shared. We experience when we go to Jambi, the farmers is very, very clever. The planting the coffee, you see, and then they produce the very good coffee, and also the package, it's very, very excellent. And the other ones, then they produce the honeybee. Can you imagine? In 1 month, they get 100 million rupiah. Even they got the result for his boss is many times compared to my salary. And the other ones in West Kalimantan, they produce like taro in Japan. See, in 1 hectare, they produce 15 million rupiah per month. So it means that it depends on the places, the area where they live. Because we cannot push them to use this one. Because sometimes, they better to do to eat or to produce something. So of course, we have many variants, so many plants that could be planted and the on the pit area that is economically benefit them. And one of the important thing is that the mechanism, I mean the market, because even you have produced huge product from pitland, but your market mechanism is not good, then finally you cannot get result from there. We experienced in West Kalimantan when several farmers complained to me, Bambang, we have produced those from land preparation without fires, but now very hard to sell at the market because the market, sorry to say, that is covered with with cartel. Then actually there is regulation from the governments that hopefully the government, I mean the province governments and district governments should facilitate for those farmers and those people who are working without fire anymore to sell the product. So then this has become one good ecosystem in order to reduce the fires, but they get also benefits. That's all, Dr. Ma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I learned from Professor Bambang, you are not only the suppressing fire, but how to support livelihood for farmers, so that more the permanent long-term solution for fire management. I think that this is a very important message, and we learn from you that COVID-19 pandemic are overlapping with the occurrence of forest fires. So we are now handling two very difficult tasks at the same time, but we learn that the community or the local people are center of the handling such a problem issue. I thank you so much, all of our colleagues who joined online this webinar. I'm sorry I could not take more than this question. When I look at the chat, so many the questions still there. It is painful to start. And also I appreciate some colleagues to share their own experience. Particularly, I thank you, Adam from FAO. He shared the NASA, film the system, and then also satellite data system. I thank you very much. Also, I thank you also other colleagues who provide some experience. Ari and to fire the system. So he also shared the interesting map, and this is really very, very informative to exchange their own also information. I very much appreciate. And so I believe today we had very, very wonderful presentation, and we had question and answer session, but it's painful to close question and answer. So I like to encourage our fire team in Bogor to also associate with some of the questions raised in the chat box after the webinar. So before closing, it's my pleasure to invite my colleague, Dr. Tetra, to make a closing remark.
Thank you, Dr. Ma. Thank you very much. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. We come to the end of and part of today's webinar. So I would like to start by thanking all speakers for informative, encouraging, and memorable speeches and presentation. And I also wish to thank in particular the Directorate of Forest and Land Fires Management under the leadership of Pak Basar Manullang and Pak Israr, the ITTO Fire Project team led by Pak Irfan Malik, and surely Professor Bambang Hero and his team from the Regional Fire Management Resource Center, Southeast Asia, IPB University, for their excellent job to make this first webinar succeed. I also would like to thank around 200 participants today for listening and put forward interesting questions and comments. I believe all of you had a good time, and I hope you have learned something new. I hope you have found out something you like to know more. And I hope you have heard something that challenges, that challenge you to work more on combating forest fire. Please stay in touch with us. We will have more webinars to come on different topics of forest fire in Southeast Asia. Now allow me to pick a quotation from what we have heard during the course of our webinar this afternoon. In her opening remarks, Ibu Laksmi Dewanti, the Director General of Climate Change, said, "The momentum and achievement on reducing fire incidents must be maintained and even should be improved. However, the challenge still remains. We still need to increase fire prevention efforts to more suppress the fire occurrence, and so that there will be no more haze pollution, as that it is our commitment to meet the haze-free ASEAN." So with that quotation, I would like to thank you all and close this webinar until we see each other again. So bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Tetra.
Thank you, Dr. Tetra.
Dr. Ma.
Dr. Ma.
Once again, thanks all for
you very
your
much.
participation.
Thank you, Prof.
Dr. Richard Woods.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Dekan.
Bye.
Terima kasih Pak Bambang.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Prof. Bambang.
Kan. Ya,
Terima kasih Pak Dekan.
Pak Dekan.
Oke, thank you Pak Basar, Pak Bambang.
Prof.
Terima
Bambang.
kasih Pak Israr.
Terima kasih Pak Basar.
Sama-sama, Pak.
Well done. Very good.
Thank you for all. Udah, bisa kan nanti? Link Bapak ya?